questions for the Premier. Speaker, the Premier knows that for years ratepayers have been crying out desperately for help, the help they need on high hydro bills. They need to be lifted out of the crisis that this Liberal government has created. Yesterday, the Premier announced that they're going to give them a rebate that amounts to 36 cents per day for the average family. All this during a period of time since 2003 that your government has raised electricity rates by over 400%. Speaker, will the Premier simply admit that yesterday's too little too late announcement was only a Band-Aid solution, and it confirms that they refuse to reverse the damage done by their failed energy policies that are hurting everyone across this great province of Ontario?
Mr. Speaker, it is a pleasure to be back in the presence of the orator from across the way. Mr. Speaker, let's talk about, he referenced the 2003, Mr. Speaker, when we came into office, which, Mr. Speaker, if you remember back to 2003, brownouts, blackouts, unreliable, dirty system, Mr. Speaker. We've moved away from that. So we've made investments, Mr. Speaker. We have rebuilt transmission lines, over 10,000 kilometres of transmission lines, Mr. Speaker. We've shut down coal. We have a clean, green electricity grid in Ontario, Mr. Speaker, and there has been a cost associated with that. So what have we done? We've put programs in place. The Ontario Electricity Support Program, Mr. Speaker, eligible low and middle income families save $430 a year. The Ontario Energy and Property Tax Credit, individuals and families save up to $1,008 a year, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, we have put programs in place. We're now taking the HST, the provincial portion off. That's the next step.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Back to the Premier, Speaker. Speaker, the voters of Scarborough Rouge River sent a clear message to this government that the current chaos in the energy system is all on them. They said in no uncertain terms that your government has failed. The Premier is promising an 8% rebate on their energy bills. Yet last November, those bills went up 4.3%. And this May, another 2.5%. How long before that rebate is eaten up with continuous energy increases that we know under your own plan are still to come in the years to come, in the weeks, months and years to come under your energy policies? Can the Premier simply state and admit that she's trying to change the channel, but it does not change the fact that more and more Ontario families are facing real energy policy under the failed policies of your government? We have energy poverty under the failed policies of your government.
Mr. Speaker, so let's look at what we are doing, because we are doing more than what the member opposite has suggested. We are rebating the provincial portion of the HST to reduce bills by 8%. We are doing that. But we're also cutting delivery charges, Mr. Speaker, for the most rural and remote customers in the province, Mr. Speaker. So that will mean actually a 20% reduction. And, Mr. Speaker, I would think that the member opposite, there will be many, many constituents of his who will directly benefit from that change of a 20% reduction because of the distribution changes, Mr. Speaker. We're also empowering businesses, smaller businesses, to reduce their bills. Under the ICI, the Industrial Conservation Initiative, Mr. Speaker, they can reduce their bills by 30%, upwards of 30%. So, Mr. Speaker, we recognize that there are costs associated with the investments we have made to have a clean, reliable grid, Mr. Speaker, which was not the case when they were in office. We're making changes to address those challenges, Mr. Speaker, and I would think that the member opposite would be supportive of those.